Hello, thank you for checking out Mr. Ware's videos. And today we're going to talk about a lot of different things here. We're going to talk about how to name points, lines, line segment, rays, planes, angles, and knowing what a skew line is, parallel, perpendicular. We'll go over a whole lot of different things. So I'm going to call this Intro to Geo. But let's go through that. And first I'm going to start with these notes here. And here, just basic, very basic. We're talking about name the point. See if that comes out. Name the point. You got a point. You got a letter. Point P. Line here. AB or line with an arrow over it. AB with arrows on the end of it. This is a line segment. Here's a ray. Here's a plane. Here's all these names here for these particular things. I'm going to go through a few more notes. I know I'm going kind of quick, but I want you to go back and refer to this when we get to actually naming these things if you get lost. So here is naming an angle. There's multiple ways to name it. X, Y, Z, angle Y, if there's not another angle attached to it, or whatever's in the middle here, this angle 2. We also have, what else we got on here? Parallel, perpendicular, and skew lines. So parallel, you may know they are lines that have the same slope that's never going to intersect. Perpendicular lines are lines that connect and make a right angle. But skew lines are lines that are never going to intersect, but they also are not parallel. Okay? So that's what skew lines are. And we'll go through all of those here. All right. So let's take a look. Alright, so here's my first problem here. It says name the figure below in two different ways. So this is a line. See how you got the arrows on here? So we can name this line PB and put two arrows on it, or we can name it BP and put little two arrows on there so we know we're talking about a line. Okay? Now if we was talking about a ray, let's say this part wasn't on here. If we was talking about array, it'd be BP only. And you put one arrow on there, like so. Okay, let's take a look at a line segment here. It says name this figure below in two different ways. Now, if I said, I got three letters here, 3 points. If I said GQ or QR or RQ or QG, it wouldn't be the whole line segment. I got to name it from one end to the other. So I can name it GR. Put a line there, and or RG line there. Notice how it doesn't have the arrows on there. Alright, here it says name the marked angle. So here's the angle right here. And it says name it in two different ways. So earlier I was talking about how you can name it with the vertices where these lines meet, but on this one you can't. So I can't call it angle D because then I don't know which angle I'm talking about. Okay, so I can name it angle, put this little angle symbol here, and say GDF, GDF. Okay, or I can name it and come this way, FDG. Angle F, if I could write right, FDG. Notice how the D, the part in the middle of the angle, is in the middle on both of these. Alright, next, here's another example of naming angles here. Alright, it says name the angle that's marked two different ways. I can name it angle IKJ, or I can name it JKI. Angle JKI. And you want to use capital letters here. JKI. Alright, here it says name the plane that is highlighted. And we got the plane that's going through the middle here and splitting this in half here. That's the plane they want us to to name here. Now you can use 4 letters, but on Delta Math they just want you to use 3. So I can use either Y, X, R, or S, and I can use any 3 I want. So I can say plane Y, X, and S. But any combination of the 3 would work for naming the plane. Alright, here's another example. And it may go through the middle, but it may not. It may be one of the ones on the outside, but you just gotta name the plane. On this one, I'm gonna say, is that a P? Yeah. R plane R P L. All right. Okay, let's take a look at this one here. All right, the diagram below is a right rectangular prism. All the angles shown measure 90 degrees. Name 2 segments drawn on the diagram that are skew. So there's multiple options here. But what you want to do is find one line. Let's say I take this HL, this line here, and then another line that's never going to intersect it, but also is not parallel. This one on the back. JF. So I got HL and JF. All right, let's take a look at another example here. All right. Okay, name the diagram. The diagram below is a right rectangular prism. All the angles shown measure 90 degrees. Complete the following sentence. All right. So here they just want to know, tell us what CG, let's see if you can find CG here. Draw that a little better. For this line here. All right, and GH. GH. Right here. Okay. You can tell those are perpendicular, and I'm going to abbreviate perpendicular. All right. Okay, now here it says identify a pair of segments that are marked perpendicular to each other on the diagram. So here's something that may not be in the notes here, but there are different markings that let you know about particular figures and angles and line segments and all of that. Okay, this one you probably are aware of. This is a right angle, right? That lets you know that the lines that cross that square right there are perpendicular. Then we have these little marks right here. This little mark, this line here and this line here, they let you know that that particular line segment are congruent to each other. They have the same measure. Okay. Here, same thing, but instead of line segments, we're talking about angles. So you see how this is one line here? Anything that has one is congruent. See how there's 2 curves here? It's congruent to whatever has 2 curves. So these 2 angles are congruent. And last, we have these little arrow markings, okay? If you see these arrows on the line, what they mean is this line here is parallel to this line here, okay? So here we just want to name a line that is perpendicular. And in this case, we can have CG and GH. Okay, both of those are perpendicular to each other. I'm sorry, looked at the wrong one. Let's try that again. Let's try IL, which is this line. It's perpendicular to MJ. this line here, right where the square is. All right, and I did these out of order. That's what messed me up. Let's take a look at number 8 right quick. Oh, we did number 8. We good. Number 9. Sorry, number 10. Okay, on number 10, we want to identify two segments that are marked congruent to each other. Two segments. So here you see how we got 3 lines here and 3 lines here. Alright, that's going to be JM, this line, and IM, that line. So JM is congruent, and it's the symbol for congruent to IM. Don't need this little line right here. Alright, let's take a look at the last type of problems that we're looking at here. Alright, here it says you want to identify. Alright, so we want to identify angle AFD. AFD. And remember what I said, the F has to be the part where the angle is in the middle there. So you look for A, there's F, and there's D. So we're going to go from here to here. We're going to connect it there. This is that angle. Angle AFD. Alright. Okay, so for this last little problem here, we want to identify angle DHG. D, H, what's H? H and G. So from here to here to here. This is the angle we're trying to identify right here. Okay? And remember, you got to keep that H in the middle of what you're looking for. But that's it. That is a little intro to Geo. I want to thank you for checking out Mr. Ware's videos. Have a nice day.